Now that we're here, can I ask how I'm 26 and still a virgin? Colin nodded. Well, it wasn't because I wanted to be, that's for sure. Daniel absently ran his fingers up and down Colin's back. But back home, I couldn't take the chance of anyone finding out I was gay. Not even if I knew they were gay too. I was scared to death of some vindictive ex-boyfriend outing me to my family or something. I believe it, Colin said. After what you told me about your family, I don't think there's such a thing as being too careful, even if it means staying in the closet for ages. There's no kidding, Daniel whistled, shaking his head. Man, it was hell. Thing is, I grew up in a little town in Idaho, just outside of Rexburg, and, it was practically a scandal if someone said they weren't Mormon. You're Mormon? No, but most of my town was. Daniel shrugged. There was another church in town that was Baptist, and my family belonged to that. The one that did all the protests and shit. Colin suppressed a shudder, just thinking about visiting a place like that, never mind growing up gay in it. So as long as you were Mormon or Baptist, you were okay? And straight, yeah. People would look at you weird if you weren't Mormon, but they wouldn't cross the street to avoid you or anything. He paused. As long as you were something. My friend had some Buddhist neighbors who had to move out of town because they got tired of being harassed. Well, not like violent harassment, but, constant passive-aggressive bullshit. Colin rolled his eyes. Yeah, I get that. So, are you... do you consider yourself... Still a Baptist? Yeah. Not even a little. Daniel took a deep breath. I think I mentally bailed around the time I discovered boys, so when I was like 12, I didn't even know what I believed, but the church I went to, shit just didn't add up. He laughed bitterly. My parents would lose their minds if they knew I was gay, or a borderline atheist, but they'd absolutely shit if they knew that if I'd been raised in literally any other church, I'd probably still believe. Seriously? Daniel nodded. Absolutely. It was all the hateful shit that drove me out, and it's kind of a long story, but bottom line, when I'm around my family, I keep a lot to myself. Wow, Colin breathed, watching his fingers trail up and down Daniel's flat stomach. I can't imagine living like that, especially as a kid. You don't want to, trust me. Daniel fell silent for a moment, but before Colin could change the subject, he cleared his throat and went on. Since coming out wasn't an option, I just kept my eye on 18. All I had to do was turn 18, graduate high school, and bail. When I realized my folks wouldn't pay for me to go to school if I didn't go to a Christian college, I figured I was on my own, so I joined the military. How did they feel about that? Oh, they were fine with it. Joining the military is about the only acceptable alternative. He cringed. Especially when there's a chance I might go to the Middle East and shoot some... Muslims? Yeah, not the words my family used, but yeah. Colin grimaced. Oh, how lovely. Right? So, being in the military, you've been able to come out? Yes and no. After I graduated boot camp, I was transferred to another school, and I realized one of my classmates was gay. So I came out to him. He was the first person I'd ever told, and... Daniel released a breath, and his whole body seemed to relax. God, it was so liberating. I believe it, Colin said. I've been out since I was 15, so I would have lost my mind having to stay closeted that long. I envy you, but it was what it was. You grow up in Rexburg in a religious family, you don't come out when you're a kid. He shrugged. I figured I could hold out till I was in the military and then just fly under the radar. Then DADT was repealed, and suddenly I didn't have to. Staring up at the ceiling, he released a long breath. For the first time in my life, I could be gay and nobody could punish me for it. Holy shit. Colin draped his arm across Daniel's stomach. I can't even imagine. It was the most amazing feeling. Daniel put his arm over Colin's and cupped his elbow. The only problem was I'd focused so hard on just getting to 18 and away from home, I didn't realize I'd suddenly be surrounded by guys who'd slept their way through middle and high school and were banging their way through their 20s.